Welcome back, fellow Frantz, and we are going to just jump into the next topic. And today, we're going to focus on quick review. I want you to always keep in mind the three main things that you need if you want to start developing yourself, becoming, more effective as an individual, or even learning new skills, or going in a different direction in your life. If you feel lost, if you feel stuck, you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, then pay attention and listen. So the three main things, and I reviewed from my last video, is you need clear identity of who you want to be and who you no longer want to be. You need the habits to reinforce that identity every single day. And you need the ability to control your emotional state, because a lot of us get stuck in this thinking and feeling cycle, right? Which ultimately creates your state of being. So if you feel like you've been going on a hamster wheel, going through the motions, nothing really changes in your life, and you want change, you want excitement, you want something new, then you need to break your thinking and feeling cycle and create a new state of being. And that's where the emotional state comes in. But the thinking part, right? The thinking, the identity, the version of you that thinks, breathes, moves the way that you do, that person needs to change his identity. And the feeling, I would say they're connected to the habits and the state, because when you take actions, you feel certain feelings, or when something in the environment triggers you, you feel certain feelings. Okay? So one of the main habits that I want to talk about today, I think it's very important, is like how as you change your identity, as you build more habits, and as you learn to control your state. Check some of my older videos. I think I talk about how you can control your state and how to be more aware. And I'll review it in this video too. But one main habit, and I would say, guys, a little bit at a time, right? Don't expect massive change all at once overnight. The same way that your habits, the things that you think, the actions that you take was built over years, is the same way that you're going to reprogram them over years. Now, some of us can do it a lot quicker, because when you can understand the actual fundamental blocks to change, and how to change your character, your behaviors, and your identity, and even just your life. Because right, when you change your habits, you create a new future. When you continue to do the same things over and over again, nothing actually changes, right? Because you're not actually changing the world. A lot of us like to wait for the future to come and say, I'll do that thing once I get X. But if you're not actively doing the things today to build those habits, over time, right? Law of compensation and law of accumulation. Law of accumulation, if you know compounding interest, right? You put in $1 and it's getting like 1%. You're getting, let's say, $100, 1%, $1, right? Every single day, it's compounding. And so instead of compounding on $100, compounding on 101, and it's compounding on 102, right? It's accumulating over time. And you want to think of the human body and the mind and the habits and the things that you do the same way, is that the universal laws are always working on you and with you. And you, as a master of the universe, as an image made by God, you have the ability to use these laws to direct your reality. And I think that's what it means to truly manifest. Because when you understand how things work, you start to align your life in the way that you wish to align it, whatever that may mean for you. For me, it was hitting the gym. For me, it was improving my communication skills. For me, it was looking for a new profession, a profession that really spoke to my soul. And so I don't know what that is for you, right? But the number one habit and part of your identity, right? Remember, it's have the identity change, make the commitment in your mind to become this new person. And I got this habit, and honestly, I'd recommend reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because this is the first habit that I got that helped me change my whole life. You see, the habit, and it's habit 1, and Dr. Stephen Covey, I believe, really says it importantly, is that, when we are growing up, when we are, living through life, especially in our younger ages, we're really dependent on a lot of people, right? We're in that dependency stage. But as we get older, we need to actually improve and become responsible adults, because being dependent on people is the worst, because that's where you get the victim mentality, right? Because you're always waiting on other people to make things happen in your life. And for a long time, that's how we grew up. That's how life was. we waited on other people to make things happen for us. But as an adult, as a man, and honestly, you don't even have to wait until you become an adult if you're on the younger side. You just need to make a decision that you're no longer going to be dependent on anyone and start to rise and become independent. So the question is, how does one become independent? Right? Because when you're independent, now you have choice. You get to create and do things and be able to take care of yourself. Now you're not really taking care of other people. You have the ability to take care of yourself. And the first habit and that Dr. Stephen Covey talks about is the habit of proactivity. Law of perpetual transmutation says that there's change is constant. It's the only constant. The only constant in this universe is change. And so us as humans, we have the ability to relax and not do anything. And when you're in a state of relaxation and not proactivity, nothing is happening because you're not actually making it happen. In order to manifest and to create in this world, you need to align your mental, your identity, but you also need to align your hands, right? Because it's through your mind and your hands that you get work done, and through your heart where you get that energy, the emotions to move forward. If you do not adopt the habit of proactivity, then you're not going to actively change your life. See, that's why I think the most important habit that you must master, and it's a habit that I'm mastering for myself. And guys, this is a lifelong journey, right? And so that's another identity switch I want you to adopt. This is a lifelong journey. I didn't build the habit of proactivity overnight. It took me, honestly, years. Why? Because honestly, I never had the identity that, oh, I'm a proactive person. I did start to use it. There was times in my life, it's kind of like training camp, right? I'll spend 3 months being proactive, then maybe a month being relaxed, and then another 3 months being proactive. And then I remember the longest I've gone was 2 years of being proactive. I'm telling you guys, that's how I transformed my body in the gym. I went 2 years straight, 6 days a week, and I did not miss a day. I got into the flow. I got into rhythm. But I practiced this number one habit, which is proactivity, right? When you practice proactivity, you can start making things happen. Now, guys, let's be honest. Just because you're taking action doesn't mean things are actually going to change. You as the individual, you as the free will, you as the God must analyze and be aware of whether something is getting you what you want or not getting you what you want. You have to understand that. You have to be able to adapt, because that's what defines us as humans. We have the ability to adapt in any environment. We are created to conquer environments. We conquer the whole world. There's humans across the span of the world. And so you must be able to adapt. But the key habit, like I said, and I'm gonna reinforce this, is proactivity, right? But what am I supposed to be proactive to? What actions am I supposed to take? Some of you guys already know what you need to do in your life. And so it's just really, maybe you're procrastinating, maybe you're being a little lazy, maybe you're not as motivated, right? But it's not about motivation. That's what I'm starting to learn. Yeah, you can have motivation, and motivation will get you started, but it never actually keeps you going. You see, discipline is what keeps you going. When you focus on proactivity, showing up every day, regardless of your emotions, some crazy things start to change in your life. Some crazy things that happen. You start to get more inspired by life. I can only speak from my own personal experience and the people that I've helped. But I really wanted to spend today talking to you about proactivity. And that was the first habit. And honestly, that's the only habit that you need to really focus on. Now, if you're someone who is proactive but doesn't feel like your life is going quite where you need to go, then I think the habit that he talked about in Dr. Stephen Covey's book is the principle of personal vision, if I remember correctly. And it's really getting clear on the future that is worthy of you, right? You got to get clear. And honestly, I think taking the time to journal and write and meditate and really get clear and remove, what I really mean by remove is if you have done everything you were told to do in life and you didn't find yourself happy, it's because you're living someone else's dream. If you're not living your dream, you're going to feel this sense of unease within you. You got to be able to live the dream that you want for yourself. This is why you must get clear on the future that is worthy of you. You must have a big vision. When you have the big vision, when you have a clear vision of where you want to go, And this is why they talk about having goals, right? Because just the way your brain works. The way your brain works is it's actively looking for whatever you feed it. So if you feed it negativity, it's going to give you negativity. If you feed it positivity, it will give you positivity. So when you got a clear vision, you give it a goal to go after. You give your brain an option to go after. Because a lot of us are walking through life with no clear vision. We don't see our brains as a laser, right? Straight line, very focused. Most of us, our thinking is all over the place. And so we cannot create that focus that is needed to achieve the things that we want because we get distracted along the way. You like Blue Lock. I'm a big fan of Blue Lock. Ego talks about this idea of getting into trance states, right? In Blue Lock, kind of give you a little. It's a place where it's a program where they have all the best strikers. They take a bunch of strikers and they try to cultivate them into becoming the number one striker. And one of the things that they do is they remove all outside distractions. You don't have your phone, you don't have TV, you don't have shows, you don't have anything that would distract you from the goal, which is becoming the number one striker. You see, those guys have a vision. They have a goal. They want to be the person who scores the most goals. And a lot of us, we lack vision. We lack where we want to go. And nothing wrong with that for some of us, right? Because I don't think all of us need to have visions. I just think the people who have a vision, who have something that's in them, in their hearts, in their minds, that are speaking to them, but they're not actively going, they need to act on that vision. So you need to get clear on your vision. And one way you can get clear on that vision, and I would recommend doing this activity, and I think it is a very healthy activity to do, and I got this from Stephen Covey again, like great book, guys, great everyone. But you want to imagine yourself at a funeral and walking over and you see yourself in the casket, right? You want to use your imagination, the thing that separates us from the animals. And you want to see yourself and you want to look at everyone around you, your friends, your family, your community, your coworkers, and really think about, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want them to say to you about the impact that you had on their lives when you were alive? Right? When you can get that clarity, it gives you a better idea of how you want to be remembered on this earth. Now, if you're not living the way that you want to be, how you want to be remembered, there's a problem, right? And so that's why I would say, like, get clear on your vision of who you want to be and practice proactivity. Now, one of the biggest things, a lot of people are like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Blah, 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 blah. That's not how the universe. You don't need to know the how. You just need to know what you want and why you want it. Because the why, the desire, the pull is going to pull you towards it. Your vision will pull you towards it because the way your brain works, it's always seeking to accomplish the thing that you ask for. That goes into Circus Cybernetics, the book. When I talk to you about the self-image, that's why you want to get clear on your identity. Because if you have an identity that's unsuccessful, failure, or who doesn't, who keeps reliving same experiences, that's exactly your brain's going to give you. Because you guys have to understand, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. You are vibrating at a frequency 24/7 all the time. Now I get it. It's hard that's a hard pill to swallow, in the sense that if you don't control how you feel and how you think on a day-by-day basis, on a moment-by-moment basis, then you may manifest things that you don't want in your life. Law of accumulation, over time, over conversation, you're going to get the reward of whatever you focused on, whether it was good or bad. The brain doesn't care. You get to choose. You're the human. You got the free will. And so you have to get clear, right? Get clear on your vision. Like I said, do the funeral exercise. Reverse engineer your life. What would you like to do? Write down your goals. If goals doesn't sound good to you because it's been overused and overplayed, what causes do you want? What projects do you want, right? How would you see your life? What would bring you the most joy in yourself and in your life, and how you want to move forward, right? And then I would create, for me, I love doing this, is creating a 5-year vision, a 3-year vision, and a 1-year, right? Not ideally in the sense of you want to write who you're going to be in the future already, right? Because when you're doing this exercise, you're engaging your imagination and you're writing to your future self and the person that you wish to be. And in that process, you can start to see and you can start to feel it. You change your thinking and you change your feeling cycle, even if it's for a second. And what you want to do is take that energy, take that emotion, and actually use it to propel you moving forward and practicing proactivity. Like I said, right? In that process of practicing proactivity, moving yourself forward, you will start to actively be building the future that you want. But let me preface this, guys. Um, in this process, everything is not going to go out your way. Just because you see it in your mind doesn't mean it's going to come out perfectly, right? You just want to have a general idea and start moving forward. That's where proactivity kicks in, right? And in that general identity, like I said before, your job, your goal is to become an independent person, right? Because we start as dependent and honestly victims. And we want to go to independence, but ultimately, I think the goal for the people who are the highest achievers is interdependence, the ability to say that you can rely on me. Because I feel like as humans, our job is to be a service to our fellow man, to be a service to each other. And you don't have to be a service to everyone. Create boundaries, right? You don't have to give so much of you. You don't have to people please. You want to create a boundary where you can adequately give of yourself, but adequately protect yourself too. Finding balance within you. So I think that's it for me today. I think that's all I really want to go out today. That was the muse kicking in and telling me what I should talk about. But I'm just gonna be proactive more on this content. And honestly, a lot of this is not planned. I'm just going off the cuff, wherever inspired me that day, and not really focusing so much. Right? Like I said, you want to get clear on the future of where you want to be, but then you want to live in the day by day, man. Like that's the most important thing. Like each day is valuable. Each day is important. Don't wait for the future to happen. Create the future right now. You create opportunities. Don't forget that. Remember, you build your life by design, not by chance.